Well, Empower to Recover Foundation has been manifested since 2015 when I did a TEDx talk in Fort McMurray, and I looked around and just went, if I could ever get lived and living experience individuals of all walks of life underneath one roof, along with bringing community assets together, meaning businesses, products, information, knowledge, organizations, we'd have a really good chance at remodeling the way the behavior is towards trauma, mental health, addiction, and recovery. And we would have a really good chance at helping the world. And that was 8 years ago. So we fast forward 8 years, and the dream lives out in 2022. We started this journey across Canada. We started in BC. And it's kind of interesting how faith works, or the God shot, or the good dope, or whatever you want to call it. We were supposed to do our first event November 19th of 2022 after doing a bunch of events at Recovery Days, and Brooke and Carl, who have been a part of this from the start. Brooke does all our digital stuff. Carl's the Chief Operations of Programming. We just weren't ready. And sometimes it's kind of scary to say you're not ready because you think you're failing. But what it actually did is it actually propelled who we are as an organization and allowed us more time to really cement what we wanted to do. So going into 2023, I just said we got to go May 27th. We're at the Anvil Center. I don't care if 2 people show up. We just need the content. We need the content to show people like what we're doing. We need the content of people's voices. So when you really think of community assets, that's like everything in the community, right? So from the vendors to the venue, to the catering, to the people's talking, to the people working, to the community assets are major. And when you do an event, that's how you bring out the community assets, and that's how you bring people together. And to me, that's the most important thing. And that's what I saw in New Westminster, BC, May 27th. We had phenomenal speakers. We had phenomenal community assets come out from treatment centers, second stage homes, health products, nutrition, Tesla beds, and 120 people showed up for the first event, which is, I believe, 4 or 5 provinces west of us. So to build it in Kenora with Carl and Brooke, and actually have a successful event, raising $14,000 for that event from the people to put on the event was phenomenal. And I knew at that moment that we had something. We weren't a national non-for-profit yet. We were still working through all those hoops to get the certificate. But then I flew into Calgary and I got booked speaking again. And I was too excited to share about my story because of what just happened the week before in BC. And, Calgary, at the venue I was at, they said, like, when are you coming to us? And, that's when I was like, is Canada open to something new? Is Canada open to hearing like lived and living experience individual stories from all walks of life, from youth to police to officers to everyday people to musicians to NHL to CFL to business owners to everything. And that's the common bond that all humanity has, is unresolved trauma. So, what's interesting is we had a logo to start and it said Empower to Recover Canadian Tour. So essentially, while manifesting it over 8 years, and then over those 2 years, I was manifesting a Canadian tour. So I left Calgary and flew to Kenora, and that's when I booked the first ever Recovery Day here in Kenora, Ontario, which I feel really proud of that as an organization, being my hometown, and we don't have Recovery Day here. So for us to bring it here and sell it out last year and have some great community assets show up, like the City of Kenora and Eric Malello and Treaty 3 Police, and the Women's Place was there, and Hype Recovery Coaching was there, and Energy Wise was there. And we had phenomenal speakers. I mean, that's where Street Angel, at 17 years old, was born. She just passed 2 years into recovery. So, now we brought youth onto the stage, and we had, Daryl Red Sky, an elder, share about his story and bringing in the Indigenous component. And Greg Rickford shared, he sent in a video about how he, how his younger brother had an overdose to fentanyl. It'd be 2.5 years ago now. And so it was phenomenal to bring back home for me. for me as a human being, but for me as, for us as an organization to do this, it was probably one of the biggest dreams, considering everything that I went through, getting into recovery with this city and everything like that. So to be able to actually now commit to bringing Recovery Day every September to Kenora or the catchment area or the Indigenous communities as an organization, that's what we want to do. Then we rolled into Calgary and did our third event, which I had said November 18th we had to cancel in 2022. And here's the God shot for you. We were going into our third event a year later, November 19th, in our third province, in our third city. And we had to cancel in the first year. So that really showed me that, people really wanted this. That really showed me that voices wanted to be heard from all walks of life. At that point, we had roughly 45 different people on the platform that spoke from all walks of life. And then we rolled into 2024 and did our first online event. So we have an online event as well. We do online events, global online events. We celebrated my 16 years, February 11th, which was phenomenal with a lot of people. And then we did Sober 424. No, then we did Timmins. We went to Timmins, Ontario, which was phenomenal as well. I was battling a hip replacement at the time. So recovery has told me just to never stop. And that's the beautiful thing about having this organization and building it with so many people, is that it saved my own life in so many different ways, and gave me the ambition and love, kindness, and compassion to just continue on to help people and myself while I'm doing it. So sold out Timmins. Then we did Sober 424, Brooks baby, which is, we feel that if there's a 420 day, there should be a Sober 424 day for all us people that are curious, in recovery, sober, clean, however you look at it. It was a global event. We had global speakers on that event as well. And then we did our fifth live event in Edmonton, at the Edmonton Convention Center. Dave Hunter, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, was the keynote speaker. Kavis Reed from the CFL. Paul Collins from Collins Family Foundation, 2019 Business Hall of Fame. Dr. Wanda from the Warriors, ARC, Alberta Adolescent Recovery Center. All these people have partnered up with us across Canada, which is insane to say, because nobody's really nobody's taken the ambition to do this across Canada. One thing is to say I'm going to do an event every single year in my city and I'm going to do it with people, but to actually truly do the events all across Canada and gather up all these amazing people across Canada is a dream come true. We're sitting over 60 plus speakers now on the platform. We've got 52 different community partners now, community assets that have come in that I've been able to utilize to help people get help through the organization, which is our ARN network, the Alternative Recovery Network, which in this first year, we've been able to help 29 different people find help and how they wanted to get help. So not everybody wants treatment. Not everybody needs counseling. Not everybody needs therapy. You got to get to their level. And as a lived experienced individual, that's what I'm able to do. And that's what our organization's able to do. And we're able to really find out where you're at, what you're doing, and where you want to go. And then from there, we utilize the ARN, which are the partners that we've built across Canada so far. We're going into our 6th live event in Saskatoon, which is sold out. We sold it out 30 days before the event. We added 75 tickets, 15 different community partners, from Indigenous communities to Canadian Mental Health Association to Startup 8 to all kinds of amazing things. And the speakers that we have there are phenomenal. We have entertainment there with Jamie Miner and Danny Floyd and Rod Peterson and Chantel are the keynote speakers. We got Wendy Gore Hickman, who was in the medical field. We got Carl Heath. We got just a phenomenal lineup. And it's our first event that we're introducing 13 new living experience speakers to the platform locally from Saskatoon. So we're really focusing on bringing the community assets out in the voices of the people that are in the city, which I think is phenomenal, because those are the diamonds and the gems that are inside the city that can really show people that recovery is a new superpower. Then we roll in to Then we roll into the second recovery day. Yes, the second recovery day in Kenora, Ontario on September 13th at 7 Gens. And we got a whopper of a day here. We're going to blow the roof off there. We got keynote speaker Kalichi, hip hop artist, coming in from Pittsburgh. He's one of my good friends. He played in Timmins. And Kalichi is just way ahead of the game in hip hop and rap and all of that amazing things. We got Carl Heath coming from a local standpoint. We got Jonathan Claus from Show Lake 39. He is the Ontario Works worker there. We got Anthony Green. We got Nancy Nance. We got Bree. We got Sonny. Sonny is a performance coach. He also works over at the Physio Center. We got John Testeranos. I believe that's how you say that. We know I have problems with names, right, Vicky? Ashley, Rozo, and we have a couple more speakers I haven't announced yet, but we have this year had a lot of community assets step up, which is phenomenal, and that's how this platform works as a national non-for-profit. It's all driven through our community partnership packages and also our tickets, vendor booths, and our Empowering Combo packages, where we try to make everything feasible for everybody as we want everybody to come. So huge shout out to Ready Now Recovery and Adult Teen Challenge out of Winnipeg. So they're going to be coming to our event, which is massively exciting. Adult Teen Challenge is a treatment center, so we're actually going to have a treatment center presence in Kenora at this event this year, which is exciting. Lake of the Woods Hospital and their mental health department is going to be there. Kenora Chiefs Advisory, Sunset Family Health Team is going to have a vendor booth there. Big shout out to 7 Gens for everything they've done. The Standard, Woman Place Kenora is going to have a vendor booth as well. We've donated a vendor booth to the Sakatee House on the donation that came in from Nero Street Academy. Big shout out to Custom Woodworking. Huge shout out to the City of Kenora. The City of Kenora is going to have a vendor booth again this year. Morgan Fuels, Sober Biz Babe, Collect for doing all her amazing work when it comes to our digital stuff, our slideshows, everything that we do on that aspect of things, our intro music, everything that happens at the events is a big shout out to Brooke. Warehouser, thank you Warehouser for really stepping up this year and helping us energy-wise, Hype Recovery, and a huge shout out to the No Matter What Happens project. They're the ones that do all our posters and make these things look as sexy as you see. We have 3 vendor booths left and 71 tickets have sold, so that's massively exciting. www.empower2recover.com. That's www.empower2recover.com. That's the number 2. That's where you'll get all the information. And then we got another event heading into Fort Frances. I'm really excited about this actually because September is Recovery Month, and September 28th is International Recovery Month. So it's exciting that the Empower to Recover Foundation is hosting 2 live events in Northwestern Ontario for Recovery Month. My goal is to actually do 4 in the catchment area for September. I know that's ambitious, but we do have Kenora, Dryden, Fort Frances, and Thunder Bay. We also have Sioux Lookout, and we have all the surrounding communities that we could do that. So we could really make Recovery Month really exciting for Northwestern Ontario, the region, and the people and the voices that we have here, right? So we're rolling into Fort Frances, Battle for Recovery on September 27th. And I'm massively excited because we have keynote speaker Holly McRae. Holly McRae is a world record holder, 2-time national record holder, 2021 Arnold World Champion, and 2022 3rd strongest lightweight in the world. She is a beast, to say the least. She has been in recovery from addiction for almost 20 years. So it's going to be phenomenal to hear her story. We also got some locals that have really shined. We got Haley Trimble, we got Grizz showing up, Randy Lee, Chelsea Susan, Dawn McLean, Carrie, and Ashley. We also got some entertainment. You can head over to www.empowertorecover.com. That's www.empowertorecover.com if you want to become a community partner or a community asset. Get yourself a vendor booth, show your power, show your voice, show what you're doing in the community when it comes to trauma, mental health, and addiction. We also have some more speakers, so bringing this stuff back to Northwestern Ontario and actually see it all start coming together with beautiful people and beautiful stories of all walks of life. I mean, we got people sharing now about human trafficking survivors. We got Leanne Davidson in Kenora sharing this year also a mother's journey with her son of overdose. So we're really bringing people together in a real awesome way, which is just straight love, kindness, and compassion, right? So all the information is at www.empoweredtorecover.com. We are a national non-for-profit going across Canada, coast to coast. We make these events possible by the people. So everybody that has made a donation or a contribution, thank you for that. What I'm finding is that a lot of communities don't get trauma, mental health, and addiction events. So when you look at like smaller communities, like the bigger cities, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Winnipeg, all those bigger places always have events like what, kind of in the shape of form of what we're doing, but not really. So the smaller cities in the rural areas, they never really get anything that bring out individuals when it comes to speaking. So like I said, bringing people together, it's community. That's number one, right? So I always look at the word unity, community. So unity in the community brings in a family. And then if we're able to share all walks of life, I truly believe stories are what's going to save us, because that's connection. So by me sharing my story, somebody in the crowd might hear it. By Vicky sharing her story, somebody might be able to connect and go, okay, I'm not alone. And the other thing is that everybody can come to our events. So it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter anything. Youth, it doesn't matter. We invite everybody to our events. It's not just a one-size-fit-all shoe, which is massively exciting because, like I said in the beginning, that unresolved trauma is the common bond that all of us have. So everybody that I see around me right now that's driving or walking by, the common bond, if we went up and talked to them, would be they have some kind of trauma that they have gone through, that they have a story, but they don't think their trauma or their story is worth talking about because. And our platform, number one, awareness, shows people that it's possible. And I think the more stories that we show, so I always like to say we are the statistics of hope. We know the statistics of death. We don't really have to talk about the statistics of death anymore. I think that's pretty out there, wildly out there. So let's really talk about the statistics of hope and how much hope we have when it comes to individuals that got the courage, the strength, the hope to get up and tell their stories, that want to tell their stories, that would never ever get the opportunity to go on stage and tell their stories in front of people. And also, possibly give them a motivational speaking career that maybe they were looking for through our platform, which we've been able to help people do and actually relaunch people into their motivational speaking careers because they lost it through COVID because of everything that happened with that. So we've really been able to also help people relaunch their careers. We've also been able to bring people together in large amounts, and we've actually been able to share stories and bring community assets together to show people where to actually get help. So the mechanics of what E2RF is the ARN network. So one is awareness. Number two is the ARN network. And, there's nothing across Canada where you can actually, I don't like using the word Rolodex, but that is going to be probably the best thing to relate it to. But where you can go to every province, every city, every town and go, where's the treatment centers? Where's the second stage homes? Where's the healthy modality? Where's the healing stuff? Where's the sound therapy, the art therapy? Where's the nutrition? Where's the active lifestyle? Because recovery is a lifestyle. You have to do it all. So the basis of us building the mechanics, actually test piloting it last year, helping 29 people get into recovery, how they want to get into recovery, what they're needing and what they're missing in their recovery and how to help them is what the ARN network is. And that's the whole key component to partnering up with the community assets in every city. And places like Timmins, Ontario don't get events like this. Honestly, Kenora, Ontario doesn't get events like this. Dryden doesn't get events like this. Fort Frances doesn't get events like this. Brandon, so there's all these places across Canada, as we move into 2025, we're actually, now we're actually coast to coast. So we're actually going to Nova Scotia, into Bridgewater, and that's where the No Matter What Happens project's from. And, the East Coast doesn't get anything like this. So what I saw in 2015 when I was at that TEDx talk, and how I, visioned it, and just never really stopped believing in people and people's stories and who people are and what people bring. And humanity is a beautiful thing. And, being able to see people show up in a time when we really need people to show up, that's what these events are doing. They're really bringing connection. They're really bringing love, kindness, and compassion. They're really bringing the help. They're really bringing the hope. They're really bringing resources, tools, products, services, information to individuals that need help. And we're only 13 months old as a national not-for-profit. So Canada was needing something new. So doing the Daily Dose of Recovery on Rogers, you have seen now, because we've done probably the most episodes me and you have ever done out of the 3 shows we've done, right, in such a short period of time. But you've been able to see and hear different people's stories all across Canada and the world, for that matter, because we're able to interview people. But you're able to see like all these different stories of individuals and people, and which is great, because that's a free resource for anybody to tap into, that, A, has Rogers, B, can go online to your YouTube channel and watch that free resource to actually get hope from that show, where we're just trying to, in 11 to 13 minutes, tips, tricks, and solutions to your recovery. And then how did you get your new superpower, which is recovery, right? So, even just from a short standpoint of us really doing the TV show, you've been able to see things and hear things that you probably haven't heard, right? So you're educating yourself as well when it comes to this. And I think that's another really big thing, right? Because we also have a podcast called the Empower to Recover podcast, which is another free resource for individuals to check into on all major platforms. So, I think just having the ability to share as much as we can about trauma, mental health, and addiction, to remodel how people look at it from a behavior standpoint, right? So that's breaking the stress, breaking the barriers, breaking the stigma, saying it's okay to be not okay. It's okay to share your story. You're not alone. Come join a community, come join a movement. You're loved no matter what. Is things I don't think people have heard for a while. You know what I mean? And that's just me. That's just the organization going across Canada and seeing what we're seeing. To have 6 events in 13 months is a little insane. But, we're 4th province, 6th event. So it shows you that people want to share their stories. People want to help people. People want to, people have a beautiful heart. They really do. And I know a lot of people say that I have a beautiful heart and all this other stuff, and it probably is true. But when you get to see other people's hearts, that's what really makes me smile and shine. And I get to see it in so many different ways, from doing this, from I go to the cities a week in advance to go really get connected with the community. So when I land in Saskatoon, I head to Cowes, which is a First Nations community. I'm going to speak out there to their community. 400 or 500 people. Then I whip it back into Saskatoon. Then I'm going to Wichican Lake First Nation to go speak to their community. Then I whip it back and I do a meal for 10 people, right? So I'm bringing in the food aspect, the chef recovery too, and cooking a meal. And then we roll into the event on the Friday, where 375 people show up and 18 different people tell their stories. And we have opening drumming and prayer ceremony. We have closing with bathing, sound bathing, and so really bringing the holistic approaches in, and people sharing their story. I don't think you can get any more holistic than that, right? Yeah, we welcome everybody to the event in Kenora, the 2nd recovery day. It's massively exciting to be doing number 2, and that has a lot to do with all of you that are supporting the Empower to Recover Foundation. So all the businesses, organizations, products, services, the voices that are going to be sharing their stories, to Kalichi coming in from Pittsburgh, to Vicky, who will be there videoing it again, so you will have an opportunity as well to see it on Rogers after. But for more information or tickets, we do only have 3 vendor booths left, so that's massively exciting compared to last year. You can go to www.empoweredtorecover.com. That's www.empoweredtorecover.com. If you have any questions or comments or anything that you want to do in that aspect of things, you can go to empoweredtorecover@gmail.com. That's empoweredtorecover@gmail.com. Our events are built by the people, for the people, with the people. So stay tuned and go to www.empoweredtorecover.com to see where this Canadian tour goes, coast to coast, empowering people like you to not be alone.